Hello, everybody. I am so sorry I'm late. Oh my God. If anyone's in the South, but it did a huge pour this morning and my garden is basically all mud. And then this is a new house. So he's like sprinting around. It's all very stressful. I apologize. Okay. So if you hear him grumbling in the background, that's probably because I've locked him in a room. Okay, let's get going. So I'm going to take it easy on everyone today. It's going to be a midday flow session, but a little bit more specific to runners. So let's come over to our mat. Okay, I apologize for the light. I'm still figuring out what the best place to film in this new house is, but bring the knees wide, feet together, press the hips back, walk the hands forward, and drop the forehead. And we're going to inhale forward, press the hips forward, and exhale back. Now, I know that some of you might have to go back to work after this, so if you need to leave early, I'll save this playlist and you can kind of come back to it. Will only be about 15-20 minutes anyway, but that's what we're doing. Good, making sure we're squeezing into the glutes, pressing those hips forward. Inhale and exhale. Maybe just pushing the hips to the right and then pushing the hips to the left. So you're stretching out through the side body, making it a little bit more dynamic. Inhale and exhale. Good. So we're just working on our hips here. So if we don't have proper hip range of motion, obviously our running is going to be affected. And something that really affects our hip range of motion is sitting a lot throughout the day because we're always in that kind of 90 position. Okay. Good. Let's curl our toes. I'm going to roll up here. So we're going to sit onto our heels. Now, if this is too much for your knees or too much for your feet, a lot of us can have very tight feet, so like the plantar fascia. Just use your fingers just onto the mat. But it's a really good thing to stretch out your feet as well. Inhale and exhale. Good job. Holding just for a couple more moments. Inhale and exhale. Relaxing through the shoulders. Just resting your hands on your thighs. We're going to reach our hands forward. We're going to be a little bit crazy here, but this is focusing on our ab control, our leg control, excuse me. Okay, now this is going to be hard. We're going to lean our chest back, go onto our tiptoes, bringing the shins off the mat. They're as parallel as you can make them. Drop them back down. Lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Whoo, and lower. Two more. Lift. Exhale, lower. Drop those hands. Tap the feet. This is the best bit. Because as much as our calves are important, you probably feel it on the front of the shins, that tib anterior. And that is really important muscle that brings our toes up. So if you find that you're tripping a lot, you might not have very good activation of that tib ant. Okay. Inhale and exhale. Excellent work. Okay. What we're going to do here is we're going to curl our toes, press into our hands, roll into this little ball, and then press into a forward fold. So no matter how much we kind of do it, forward folds are really great, especially if we've been sitting a lot throughout the day. So shorter hamstrings can pull at the muscles of our lower back and give us backache. They activate our hamstrings a lot more than in running than walking, and so they can become quite tight or overactive. So just pressing that chest or the thighs. I know for me personally, when I don't stretch out my hamstrings, my back just kills. And so just for me personally, that's something I really find important. Good. Heel toe your feet slightly apart, so as wide as the mat. Exhale, sit that bum down. Now you might stop here. You might stop here. Exhale and inhale. Just breathing back and forth, bringing that chest through, opening up the hips, maybe moving side to side. Good. Inhale and exhale. Controlling into these deeper ranges of motion is really important. Working on that eccentric control, kind of like we discussed last week. Good. Inhale, roll back into that forward fold, heel toe those feet back together. Roll up to standing. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna step into our mat here. Again, I'm sorry about the light. I'm not sure exactly. Let's see. Oh, this is better. Okay. So, oh yeah, okay, fine. We're gonna bring our left knee to our chest. Inhale and exhale. Now, first, this might seem quite easy. If you probably can't see because I don't think my camera's good enough, my foot on the right side is moving all around. So I have to work quite a lot through my ankle stabilizers. And I have twisted my ankle a lot of times. And so this is something, my balance on a single leg, that's really important to work on. Because if you run at all, but especially if you do things like trail running, that you're dropping from heights, or you can be, jumping off rocks and things, that's going to put you at risk for twisting your ankle. And if you've twisted your ankle once, you're 90%, don't worry if you fall, you're 90% more likely to twist it again in that year, statistically. So it's really important that you do work on that consistently. And we're going to exhale, bring this leg back, and we're going to grab it with our foot. Now, if you need to hold on to something, you can. So we're opening up into our quad, slight bend into this right knee. And what I want you to do is, instead of grabbing the top part of your foot, grab the middle. So your palm is open and up. And again, I'm just grabbing the wall because my ankle balance is quite poor right now. But we're working on it. Now press that foot back. It doesn't have to be quite a lot. It could be up. It could be just here. Reach that hand forward and open through the chest, open through the hip. Inhale and exhale. Bring this knee back to the chest. Now, if you want, we're going to do something a little bit harder. But again, this type of single leg strength is incredibly important for runners. So you're going to reach forward. You can either grab your leg or you can grab your big toe. And we're going to, you can either hold the wall or just do the best you can. Lower down. Keep that bum up. Now, I said I'd take it easy. I know. Let's drop the bum. But what that is called is eccentric control. We'll go back to the other side in a second. But that eccentric control is really important and it's going to prevent your joints from getting injured. So that's that control instead of power. Bringing our feet wide, knees behind us. Drop the knee, drop the knee. So we're going into this 90-90 stretch. So left hip is going to be open, right hip is going to be internally rotated. We're going to turn our chest toward this left side. And I'm just going to use my hands around my knee, drop the chest. Opening up through this hip. Your right hip will come off the mat. That's absolutely fine. Good. Just going up and down. I personally like this one a lot more than the pigeon stretch in yoga. I got a hip injury, and so I find that one extremely irritating, whereas this one actually just kind of gets into the muscles around the hip for me. And that's what's really important about yoga mobility, is that you change the stretches and the positions to find what works for you, just as you would do in running, just as you would do in lifting. It's not just, one size fits all. Good. Now, if you want to make this harder, I don't know if I can, this is a hard one for me. You can reach forward, pick your hands up. You're going to feel that activation a little bit more, a bit of a deeper stretch. Exhale, release. And let's just put our hand onto our right leg and just open up through our side body. So a lot of times when we're stretching, we do forward and back, but we don't do side to side. And that's something that can become really tight, especially when we're doing something like running that's always going forward and back. Good. Just a side stretch here. Inhale. And exhale, one more breath. Good. Let's Now, not before we're going to do both sides. So let's just do this and then we'll go into the other side. So my right leg is open, my left leg is closed down. So external rotation on my right, internal on my left. I turn my chest toward the right leg, put my fingers around the knee, and just gently go up and down. My left glute will be off the mat. And again, adjust to how feels good for you. Inhale and exhale. You can see the towel that I was using to try to frantically wipe Rocco off with. Good. Inhale and exhale. Now, if you want to make this harder, now I don't think I'll be able to on this side because as I said, this is my injured side, but you can take off your hands. But for me, not on this side. So I'm just going to keep going up and down. Good. And left hand either on the mat or your leg, and side stretch. The side stretch is, for me, where I get the most relief. My side, I feel like it's really tight, I think, just from sitting all day. And especially, as I said, running is back and forth. And if you're going uphill, downhill, you might be doing some extension and flexion. But I never side to side, so I have to really consciously do it. I think if I was stretching side and running, it might be doing something wrong. Okay, let's bring our feet up and let's just see if we can we stand up? Excellent. Okay. I'll move to this end of the mat. So we're moving to our back end of the mat just so you can see my right leg. Inhale, bring this right knee up. We're using our left leg for balance. Inhale and exhale. Focusing on your breath. A little slight bend in that left knee so we're not hyperextending and finding that stability in the left knee. Exhale, grabbing the inner side of your foot, so onto the arch. Your palm is facing the ceiling. And you might stay here, feeling that nice stretch through the quad. You might need to hold the wall. Or lean the hips forward, chest forward, and reach forward with your hands. So extension into the chest, opening extension into the hip. Now you might notice, and what I want you to notice is there a difference between this side and the left side? For me, absolutely. Breathing, stay balanced, gripping in with your feet, not collapsing through the arch. Inhale that knee back to chest. This is the hardest bit, I promise. Okay. If you can grab your foot, that's great. You can just hold your leg. I'm going to grab my foot. I don't know, this side will be a bit harder for me. Lower down. And sit. Control. We don't want anyone falling on the ground. Okay. Hands behind us, and let's just do a side to side. Excellent work, everybody. Okay. Now, while we're here, we're going to do something called pelvic tilting. And this, for a really long time for me, I just couldn't do. So it's basically when we're moving our pelvis, not our lower back. So if we're moving our lower back, it's like kind of like that. Whereas this is just rolling our pelvis back and forth. And I like to do it in this position because I find it's the easiest to kind of get for beginners. And it just feels very natural. And this is a very important movement, not only for running, but if you sit throughout the day. Because what our bodies do not like is going from a little movement to a lot of movement. So just a little movement throughout the day can be very helpful. A lot of people I see, they'll be kind of getting aches and pains midway through their run or right at the end when things start to build and build and build. And sometimes these can be quite effective depending on where you're missing your movement. So a lot of this, it either takes trial and error or movement analysis. Good. Putting our fingertips towards the back of the mat. A couple final stretches here. We're going to press our hips up. And you might be here. Maybe you can press this as reverse plank. Drop your head. Exhale, drop down, hug the knees, and reverse plank. Squeeze into the bum, open up through the chest, Exhale, drop down, hug your knees. So we're always doing a counter stretch basically. So when you do something big, you do the other way. So that's why if you've been sitting in one position, it's really important to do the opposite. Our body doesn't really care what position we're in, just that we move out of it frequently. So it's not that slouching is bad, it's just that that's the only thing we always do. Excellent. One more here. Good. And I really want to finish this class a little bit unconventionally, but we're going to roll over, come into this 4-point kneeling, reach our hinges 6 inches in front of where they are, grip into the mat, curl our toes, press the hips back, downward facing dog. Now, sometimes this downward dog just gets kind of into different places than like a forward stretch wouldn't do. So we're pressing our hips, our chest pulls towards our thighs. It's a stretch, but we're also activating. Inhale and exhale. Keep holding if you can. Roll forward into a high plank. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Just a little bit of dynamic movement here. And where do you feel this tightness? Is it in the ankles? Is it in the calves, the hamstrings, the spine, the shoulders, very potentially? Inhale, drop the knees. Press back into a child's pose. Good. Inhale, roll forward. Just a couple of spinal movements before I let you go. Right hand reaches up and threads through. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Moving back and forth with your own breath. Being mindful not to push it into the point of pain. We're just trying to move and mobilize. So gentle back and forth. And the idea is that over time, that range will improve. You're not probably going to improve it in one session, so that's important to know. Good. And press back. Excellent job, everyone. I'm sorry today. I'm going to come a little closer. I'm sorry it was a bit flustered today. I will bring the golden retriever puppy so you can see him next week, hopefully with less mud on him. I dread to think what the other room looks like, but I will be doing another one, I'm sure, in a couple weeks. Can't leave this one to be my last one with you guys. Apologies again, like I said, for being late and being so flustered. Dogs, hey. So any questions, send me a message. If you missed this because I was late, I'm so sorry. And the stream will be up and you can watch it whenever you want. So you can do it next lunchtime. Okay, thank you so much. And if you would like to try any of the other classes from myself or any of the physio teachers on Made by Movement, you can get a whole month free with the code BESTATHLETICS. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.